So a bit of a different topic today. Not particularly about Liverpool, but of course a lot of it refers to Liverpool and things that have happened in the past. But what I'm going to talk about is how our beautiful game, the game we all love, is being ruined. It's being ruined by the people who are supposed to be the custodians of it, the people who oversee the governance of it. And I'm going to talk about several different areas of the game on the pitch that are just absolutely ludicrous. And I'm actually going to talk as well a little bit at the end about how the players, some of the players, are also helping to ruin the game in certain aspects. So it's the Premier League itself and the PGMOL. The Premier League creates and enforces the rules, and then the PGMOL is there to make sure that the rollout and the consistency and the adherence to those rules are in place. Sounds easy, right? So to better understand this, I went a bit deeper into who are the Premier League board and who are the PGMOL. And it's quite telling. So the Premier League board, and I'm going to come out with some names now. Some of you might know them, many of you might not. I certainly did not know most of them anyway. The sort of head, or the chair as they're called, the one who's sort of got the top spot, her name is Alison Brittain, and she's had it for a few years now. And the thing about Alison Brittain, she's been on the board of many different big companies. But the most interesting one is that she once held a position over the course of 3 Prime Ministers as a member of the UK Prime Minister's Advisory Council. And you know who the 3 Prime Ministers were where she was on their Advisory Council? David Cameron, Theresa May and Boris Johnson. 3 Tory Prime Ministers. She was on the Advisory Council for some of the most incompetent Prime Ministers in my lifetime, including Boris. Then you've got these people who are known as independent non-executive directors, which is a very strange title. They're independent and they're non-executive. Sounds like a couple of cop-outs to me. And they're directors. So these people are May Fayfield. May Fayfield was previously, before getting this job with the Premier League, the Chief Strategy and Commercial Officer for Sky. She also sits on the board of what's called BBC Commercial. Something to do with the BBC, anyway. Then you've got another one of these independent non-executive directors whose name is Dharmesh Mistry. M-I-S-T-R-Y. What a cracking name for someone who's part of an organisation we know nothing about. Dharmesh Mistry. He was once a non-executive director at the BBC. Second one to have the BBC in their past. Then you got Matthew Ryder, who was the Deputy Mayor of London, including overseeing sport in London as part of his job. And you've got the CEO, whose name is Richard Masters. I couldn't find any dirt on him or anything that would make me think, he held a role in the English and Welsh Cricket Board, but I won't hold that against him. The head office, of course, is in central London. So let's move on to the PGMOL. The Chief Refereeing Officer, Howard Webb. That well-known Man United sympathiser who was also in the 90s a member of the South Yorkshire Police. The Select Group 1 coach, which means Select Group 1 is the best ones, you know. Select Group 1 coach is the known, proven, statistically anti-Liverpool referee Martin Atkinson. Proven to be biased by a statistical analysis done by Paul Tompkins. The refereeing coach, you know, the person responsible for making sure that the coaches, the referees and all the things they got to do well, is one of the least competent referees in my lifetime, Lee Mason. Awful. If you look him up on the Wikipedia page, you'll see there's a section on all his cock-ups. He's terrible. He was terrible, and he's the refereeing coach. Oh, and by the way, he's from Greater Manchester. Chris Foy is the head of community and public engagement. And the only thing I can find against him is that he's an Everton fan. Steve McNally is the performance sports director, and he's the ex-head of sports and medicine at Man United. And then you've got this fella called Phil Bentham, or Bentham, not quite sure how you pronounce it. He's the VAR coach, and he's refereed 7 major finals, and he's been the video referee for 9 major finals. Impressive, right? Except they were in rugby league. He's never refereed or VAR for football ever. So before I get into the crux of what this video is all about, there's your Premier League and your PGMOL. Loads of people who've got backgrounds in Sky, BBC, the City of London. They're based in London. They got several people from Greater Manchester, where of course all the media is based anyway, along with London, and with a little bit of South Yorkshire police. The other thing of note here, when I went through all these, there's absolutely nobody from Liverpool. There's nobody with any ties to Liverpool except for that fella who was the head of sports medicine at Man United. He once worked in the youth setup at Liverpool back in the 90s for a short period of time. So there you go. They're who are running the show. So let's get into how they're ruining the game. There are several laws of the game that these people have put in place. All of these rules are written in such a way that they are ambiguous as hell, and referees can give whatever decision they want without any comeback, and I'm going to go through them. The first one, offside. Okay, the good news is that the dodgy, thick line that was drawn with what looked like a felt tip pen on a 1970s VHS video, which was always drawn crooked or the wrong direction, that's gone. No one trusted that. It was awful. They made decisions, big decisions based on that, and by drawing a line wherever they wanted. So now we've got semi-automated, which is no doubt an improvement, I think. But with this semi-automated system, you know, with 2025 technology, why, when we see it, do the 2 players turn into Hanna-Barbera cartoons? Why don't we get the actual imagery of the players instead of 2 cartoons? You show us 2 cartoons and then you show, oh look, that shoulder's a bit further ahead than that shoulder. They're cartoons. They're not even the real people. The other thing that absolutely blows me away with this offside is, right, we will see these 2 cartoon characters go, and you'll go, oh yeah, look at that, his leg's offside. Well, we have no idea if that image was taken when the ball was kicked. Where's the technology for when the ball was kicked? How do we know exactly when that ball left the foot of the player? We don't see that. We just see that still image, and we all are buying into it. Oh yeah, look, oh, it's offside. Well, shame. But we don't know. We don't know when they measured it from. We don't know when the ball was kicked. So why don't we see both? Why don't we see technology that shows the exact timestamp of the ball being kicked and the exact timestamp of the offside or potential offside with real players, not cartoon characters? That is something that can be solved. But no, we have situations like the other day with England-France in the women's game, where they had 2 cartoon characters where one shoulder was deemed to be ahead of the other shoulder. And by the way to fix this is dead easy. You do not have offside with any part of the body that can score a goal. You have offside with the feet. The feet only. They talk about running offside, or he's standing offside in an offside position. That's because the feet are what matter. A forward is always going to be leaning forward, running that way, and a defender is going to be leaning the other way, going that way. So the forward is always going to be at a disadvantage, and so many offsides are given because of a shoulder or an elbow or an armpit when the forward's feet are behind the feet of the defender. Use the bleeding feet. It's easy. Solved. The next one, the handball rule. You know why it's called handball? Is because you're not supposed to use your hand. You know, this bit, not the rest of it. The hand, that's what it was for. So you couldn't like flick the ball with your hand. It's called handball. It's not called arm ball, shoulder ball, armpit ball. It's handball. And again, they've designed this to be so incredibly complicated that any dodgy referee, whether they've got a bias or they're corrupt or anything in between, can do what they want and he can justify it. Is it the arm? Is it the shoulder? Is it in an unnatural position? Is it the right silhouette? Have you become unnaturally bigger? Is it deliberate? Is it accidental? Is it the line of the sleeve? You know they're going to make shirts with longer sleeves, don't you? But anyway, all of them factor in to this handball. Oh, there's also how close it was and whether there's deflections and all this other stuff as well. So tell me, how do you interpret that? How is it possible to interpret that? And what's a natural position and natural silhouette when you're sliding on the floor? Because you've got to have your hands up like this when you're sliding, because if you don't, you're going to break your arm because it'll be underneath your body. But someone's sliding and their arm's here and it hits them on the arm, it's given as a penalty. Sometimes. Because again, it depends on the referee, and it depends if the referee wants to give it or not. Because if they give it, they're fine. Because they can justify it with all of the complexity. Or they can not give it. And they can come up with one of those reasons. They don't seem to want to make things simple. They seem to want to make them so ambiguous, so difficult to interpret, that a referee can do what they want, and so can a VAR. Do you want a proof of that? Rodri, Man City against Everton. That won Man City the league. That had Paul Tierney as the ref and Chris Kavanagh on VAR. Two highly suspect individuals to me. I have zero faith at all in Paul Tierney and his ability to fairly officiate a game. He's somewhere between bias and corrupt. And he did not give that handball, that one right there, which won Man City the league and very, very nearly relegated Everton. And all there was an apology. Every criteria for a handball was met, and he still didn't give it. And Man City won the league. I say no comeback, they're still refereeing, they're still on VAR, both of them. When you are the only two people on the planet who think that that wasn't a handball, something stinks. And it smacks of either extreme bias or corruption. Another one, before I move on to the next subject, again involved Man City. And it was a Cole Palmer free kick. And Jack Grealish was in the wall. In the wall, you know where you're like this, with players next to you. Well, as he took it, they not only split, but he went like that. And it hit his arm. And it wasn't given. They're ruining the game. Next one, time wasting. So, you know there's the goalkeeper 6-second rule, which is like never, ever, ever been implemented. Goalies can do whatever they want, take as long as they want, up to about, I think I've measured about 25 seconds that a goalkeeper faffs around with the ball. So that's ignored. But the new rule to eliminate time wasting is if you kick the ball away, you get a yellow card for delaying the restart. Yeah, you delay the restart if you do that. Just like a team delays a restart when they're taking a throw in if they're winning. Just like the time it takes them to take a goal kick if they're winning. Just like the time it takes them to take a free kick if they're winning. Just like one player will go to take a throw in and then he'll wait for his mate to come over and he'll throw it to him so that he can take it to waste another 15 seconds if they're winning. And then the time it takes for a player to walk off the pitch for a substitution when they're winning. All of them, absolutely fine. Don't get booked for them. But tap that ball away 3 feet and you've had it. And refs again, with this one, can do what they want. The referee who I once had respect for, now I have none, Michael Oliver, comes into play. Michael Oliver, after going to go and referee for the oil people, has never been the same. And last season, Michael Oliver targeted Arsenal. And he did. And I think he targeted Arsenal because he thought that they were the most likely candidates to challenge Man City. They didn't end up being so. Man City fell off a cliff, of course, but he wasn't to know that. He sent off Trossard against Man City for booting the ball away. A year after he had come out and said that he didn't want to send a Man City player off because he didn't want a spectacle to be ruined. But he sent Trossard off for booting the ball away about 4 feet. Then in a game which featured Arsenal against Wolves, João Gomez did exactly the same for Wolves. I didn't book him. So when it was Arsenal against Man City, he sent the Arsenal player off. When it was Arsenal against Wolves and the Wolves player did it, he left them on. So once again, it's completely up to a referee to do what he wants. No comeback, no consequences, no anything. Just going back to the goalkeeper thing, the 6-second rule. So rather than force it, you know, this was an easy one for me, right? You go, right, everyone, 6-second rule. Starting this season, you enforce the 6-second rule. Well, they haven't done that, have they? What they're doing now, they've changed it to an 8-second rule. So they're enforcing, you can't boot the ball away 3 feet, but now the goalkeeper has an extra 2 seconds. So now it's 8, it'll go to 12. And, you know, imagine traffic cops going into a room and saying, you know what, everybody? Nobody abides by the 30 miles an hour speed limit. So what we're going to do is we're going to up it to 35. That'll take care of it. It's now the 8-second rule. Okay, next one. Added time. Oh my God. There's 3 guarantees in life. Death, taxes, and if a Manchester team is losing by 1 goal, the added time will be more than you think it should be. And if they're winning by 1 goal, the added time will be less than you think it should be. That's just the way it is. A mate of mine a long time ago, he's a Canadian lad. He didn't really get football. He started watching it because I got him a little bit interested in the idea of it. He was an ice hockey fan. And he said, what the hell is that at the end of a game? This time that they add on that nobody knows what it is. And he called it mystery time. I laughed then, I'm laughing now. He called it mystery time because it is. It's a complete mystery. Only the referee knows what that board's going to say. And the rest of us just sit there waiting, hoping. And how many times are you watching a game and the board goes up and you go, where the hell did that time come from? How did they come up with that? And we don't know. That's the thing, we don't know. They can add on whatever they want. They can not add on if they don't want. Sometimes there's howls from the crowds because everyone's expecting 6, 7, 8 minutes and they come out with 3. Normally when it's specific teams that are holding on to a lead, they can also blow the whistle when they want. If a team's on the attack and they desperately need a goal and this referee isn't quite partial to the team that is trying to get the equaliser, just blow the whistle. They can do that. There's no comeback. Nobody knows. Nobody knows when they're supposed to blow it. Just another example of what they can do, what they want. How about an idea of transparency? How about, you know, when you come up at the end of a game and they say 8 minutes, why don't they also have, comes up on your screen, won't be able to do this in the ground, but they can do it with the technology for the millions watching around the world. Come up with the breakdown of those 8 minutes. Where did they come from? Because then they'd be held to account. If they say 5 substitutions, 2.5 minutes, 3 goals, 1.5 minutes, fine. But sometimes you have no clue where it's come from. How about transparency? Tell us where it came from. Or don't you want to? Is that the point? The last one, VAR. Oh my God. I've maintained this from day one. VAR is not a problem. VAR is a good thing. It's a tool. And unfortunately, it's in the hands of tools. If you've got an electric drill and you need to like put nails into some wood and you try and do it and the nail flies off, or the next time it splinters the wood, or the next time you don't, it goes wonky. It's not the drill's fault. That's your fault. You're not very good with the drill. And when VAR is being operated by these incompetents, like thank God we've got rid of Coot, right? He's gone, but he's just one of them. We've still got it being overseen by Paul Tierney and Darren England and those type of people, Chris Kavanagh. And is it any surprise when you put a highly technical tool in the hands of incompetence that you get a disaster of a result? Any tool put in the hands of people who don't know how to use that tool or can't apply that tool, it's a cock up waiting to happen. And that's what it is with these people in charge of VAR. Now, the other thing about VAR, and this one, I don't understand it at all. This whole debate about clear and obvious. Think about the words clear and obvious. They're two of the most unambiguous words in the English language. It's got to be clear and it's got to be obvious. It's got to be both. No grey area. No 17 angles. No 6 minutes to figure it out. No 50-50s. If the referee says it's a goal and you cannot find anything that's clear and obvious that he has made a mistake, then it's a goal. If he says it's offside and you look at it and you clearly see that it is onside, you overrule it. It's as simple as that. If it's clear and if it's obvious, then it should be changed in an instant. If it's not, if there's any grey area, if you've got to spend more than 20 seconds looking at it and you still can't figure it out, then it isn't clear, is it? And it isn't obvious. Some of it's just basic logic, innit? It's another example that they can just do what they want and there's no repercussions for it. No comeback. Is it any surprise that these people who are refereeing and on VAR today, under the guidance of Webb, Atkinson and Mason, three of the most vilified referees of their day, is it any surprise they can get away with anything they want while them clowns are in charge? The system, the ambiguity of the rules allows them to, and I have a feeling it's designed that way. And what can clubs do about it? Nothing. I said this in one of my earlier videos. I think clubs need to get together and protest what goes on at the PGMOL and the Premier League, and as one say this is not acceptable. We want transparency from you, and we want to understand what is going on with these decisions, and we want to understand what you're doing with your training. We want to understand what you're doing in terms of when a significant error is made. We want to know the report. We want transparency. We want it out in the open, and we do as well as the fans, but we don't get it. So what do they do? If you dare, whether you're a manager, a club or a player, if you dare speak out, they slap you down, they fine you, they ban you, they do whatever they can to maintain their ultimate control. And it's wrong, and they're ruining the game, and they're continuing to ruin the game, and something needs to be done. I got one last one. I'll just touch on it very, very briefly because you will see it every time, but corners, the holding, the grabbing, the grappling, the wrestling. Another one, referee can do what he wants, right? What they'll do, waiting for the corner to be taken, they'll all be grappling, so they'll blow the whistle, go over. Will you stop doing that now? They move away, it carries on again, they take the corner, all the grappling happens. If they want a team to score a goal, they can look at any foul you want and give it. If they don't, they can just let it carry on and away it goes. We've seen people dragged to the floor and it's not being given, and we've seen people slightly brushed and it has been given. It's another one, it's another example. It is so ambiguous they can do what the hell they want, and it's wrong. That's the PGMOL and the Premier League. On to the players. There's three areas where there is a percentage of players that do my head in. And they do it week in, week out. A real detriment to the game. And some of them are relatively new. The first one, head injuries. Now, we all know the reason the head injury protocols were put in place was for good reason. Concussion, potential long-term injury, etc. So I get why they do it, but players are absolutely abusing it. If you're under the cosh, go down with a head injury if you're winning. If there's a corner, where all the opposing players are piled forward trying to get that goal, when a corner comes in, fake a head injury. If you're running alongside someone and their elbow comes up and it hits you here, fake a head injury. Because the referee has to stop the game. And it's always the team that's hanging on for a point that does it. You don't have a team that's desperately going for a goal that fakes a head injury. The second one, similarly, just faking injuries in general. But this one, you know, trying to get people booked and sent off. Diving. Diving's been going on for forever. But they've taken it to new levels now. So now a player will get touched and they will go down and they'll roll over 6 times. Now, I played football all my life, and I can tell you, when you got hit by a defender, you went down like a sack of spuds. Never once did I go rolling towards the bleeding goal line or the sideline. You just went down, and if you weren't injured, you got up. These go rolling around 6 times. It's total fake. And the other one, the new one that they do, is this. Slapping the ground, like 6, 7, 8 times. The only way you would ever do that is if you've got a leg break or your ligaments are gone. But no, they get up 2 minutes later and they're perfectly fine. And the last one, cramp. Now, if you get cramp in 90 minutes, then get off the field because you're not fit enough. If you're fit enough, you wouldn't get cramp. Your body would be able to last. You're a professional footballer. You can do 90 minutes. But they don't. They get cramp and they go down and their players come and they do the whole leg thing and everything else. Get them off. I'm alright if it's extra time, but get them off under normal time. And the other thing about cramp is that we know it's not cramp. And the reason we know it's not cramp is because, once again, it only happens to teams who are under the cosh, who are trying to hold on. The team that is 2-1 up and holding on to the game, they get cramp. The team that's 2-1 down, pushing to get that equaliser or try to win the game, they don't get cramp. Like ever. Just like the rolling around, the slapping the floor, the faking of the head injury, it's all a con. The head injury one is really difficult to do something about because the rule allows it. You can go down faking a head injury and you've got to accept that it is. But cramp, remove them from the pitch or carry the game on around them. Cramp's not an injury. Cramp's because you didn't prepare properly. So do not stop the game when a team is trying to score a goal, when a team is doing their best to try and get back into a game because he decides he's going to go down with cramp. And with all these contricks that they're doing, I personally, I have no time for them at all. I can't stand it when anybody does them. I can't stand it when Liverpool players do it. And it should be stamped out as best he can. So there we go. Long video. Our game is screwed. Well, it's not, but it is being ruined. Specifically by the PGMOL and the Premier League and a little bit by the players as well. And things have got to be done. Come on, for all of our sakes. For the sake of fairness. For the sake of getting things right. For the sake of all these players who put their entire careers into these games to get the right result. The problem is, do the Premier League and the PGMOL really want these solutions? And when I look at the characters involved in the oversight and the governance of the game and their track records and who they've represented in the past, I'm not so sure they do. You'll never walk alone. Cheers to that.